All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
Hello and welcome to this week's NASCAR Quick Hit here at SHIPIT Nation. I am Eric, also known as TheGame, and tonight we will be discussing the Go Bowling at the Glen, which is taking place at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. As always, please go ahead and hit that like button and please subscribe if you have not already. It really does go an incredibly long way in helping our channel with the YouTube algorithm. Before I break down the Go Bowling at the Glen, let me mention us, SHIPIT Nation. I'm using a different laptop, so let me get my screen here. Bam! ShipItNation.com. Join the nation if you haven't already. You already know we do NFL, which week 2 has already kicked off with Thursday Night Football, but week 2 main slate kicks off tomorrow. We got PGA. We're in the middle of the Pro Core right now. MLB's in full swing. UFC at the Sphere is happening right now. College football is in full swing. NBA will be here before you know it. NHL will be here before you know it. And of course, while we're here, NASCAR. So that is ShipItNation.com. Join the nation. You already know we got projections, core reports, slate plans, the stone, the world famous stone, education courses, everything you need to have success with DFS. All right, let's go back into talking about the Go Bowling at the Glen, which is once again taking place at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. Where's my little fancy graphic here? It is here. Perfect. Let's see here. This week, Green Flag is at 3 o'clock Eastern, and we are on the USA Network in America, and once again, TSN 5 in Canada. This week, we are also once again road course racing, and there are only 90 laps on deck for Sunday's race, which equals out to only 63 total Dominator points. This weekend, I'm recommending only playing one Dominator if you're playing any at all, and then focusing on place differential, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. Also, this weekend, we got an extended practice session. Normally, there are 2 groups, and they each get one 20-minute practice session. Instead, this weekend, they got 2 20-minute practice sessions. So, yeah, definitely feel free to rely on practice data. I am comfortable in using that data this weekend. And last, before I start discussing some of my favorite drivers for this slate, I did want to mention tire wear. Tire wear seems to be the topic on everyone's mind going into this race weekend at Watkins Glen. During the offseason, Watkins Glen was repaved, and Goodyear has brought a tire which they are claiming has considerable tire fall off. And from what we've seen in practice, that should be true. Goodyear is claiming that the tires will lose up to 3 or 4 seconds by the end of a full fuel run. That's a lot of time. Is it actually, or are the tires going to lose that much time? That remains to be seen. However, if they do fall off that extreme for Sunday's race, I really anticipate those veteran drivers who really know how to manage their tire wear, a Keselowski, a Hamlin, to make their way towards the front of the field by the end of Sunday's race. All right, let's go ahead and discuss some of my favorite drivers. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm using a different computer setup here, so I just got to make sure I got my overlays correct. And I do. Look at that. The stone. All right. First up for one of my preferred drivers, and that will be the pole sitter. Melon Man, Mr. Ross Chastain. Ross was fantastic at practice. Second in the 1, second in the 5, third in the 10, and third in the 15. And then he followed up that practice speed by putting it on the pole for Sunday's Go Bowling at the Glen. Personally, Ross is not somebody or is not a driver I think about when I think of road course racing. However, he's had a fairly decent season on road courses so far this year. He finished 7th at COTA, which was all the way at the beginning of the season, and 5th at Sonoma just a few weeks ago. So trending up, trending well, I should say, at the road courses for the Melon Man, Mr. Ross Chastain, currently plus 550 to win. And as we saw in the Xfinity race today, it does seem like the leader, if they can get out in clean air, can really set the pace and lead some laps. If Ross can get out front cleanly at the start of the race, I expect him to lead a chunk, if not all, of stage 1. Next up, however, is the driver who will be, or one of the drivers who will be trying to take that lead from Ross at the beginning of the race, and that is NASCAR's favorite Kiwi. No, I'm not talking about Marcus Ambrose. Instead, I'm talking about Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG. SVG burst onto the Cup scene last season by winning his NASCAR debut at the Chicago Street Course at 4th of July weekend. Since that point, SVG has moved to America and become a full-time NASCAR competitor, full-time in Xfinity this year, and next year he will be a full-time Cup driver for Trackhouse. SVG has already won 3 times on the road courses in the Xfinity series, and has had some fairly decent runs in the Cup series this year. We all know by this point that SVG is crazy fast on road courses. And much like Ross, he was excellent in practice. And he qualified 3rd. And I believe at the time of this recording, yes, at the time of this recording, he's currently the odds-on favorite to win the race at plus 400. And much like Ross, I don't know if I mentioned this for Ross, but much like Ross, the only thing SVG is worried about for Sunday is a victory. He's not in the playoffs. Ross isn't in the playoffs. They don't got to worry about stage points. All they're worried about is the win, which is definitely on the up for us DFS players. So Ross Chastain to start, and then SVG. Next up, Tyler Reddick, old Red Dog. Tyler Reddick was extremely fast in practice. As you could tell, he was first in the 1, first in the 5, first in the 10, and second in the 15. However, unlike SVG and Ross, he did not back that up in qualifying and only qualified 15th or 16th, actually, only qualified 16th. Reddick has been excellent on road courses in 2024, including finishing 5th at COTA, 8th at Sonoma, and 2nd at the Chicago Street Course. Reddick gives you race winning upside plus place differential points upside. Fantastic play for Sunday. And last, but most certainly not least, my bargain bin driver of the weekend. And let's see here. Can I... Oh, my Foxit reader is closed. Look at that. I shouldn't have tried to scroll down, apparently. Is it going to open? Now you guys can see my cool penguins. Let's see here. Can I get this opened quickly before you guys notice, or before it takes for long? Let's see. Reopen. Look at that. Bam. And it still has my blocks there. Perfect. Look at me go. All right. I told you, new computer. Not a new computer. Old computer. Different setup than what I'm used to currently. Can I scroll down any more? No. It keeps freezing. Why does it keep freezing? Anyway, I'm going to let it freeze and keep moving on. My bargain bin driver of the weekend is one Kaz Grala. Yeah, Kaz. Let me see here. Where's my write up here for Kaz so I can. Here we go. Last but most certainly not least, my bargain bin play is once again Kaz Grala. Truthfully, I am hanging my hat on Kaz's most recent performance at Sonoma, where he finished 23rd from a 36th starting position. This weekend, Kaz is starting 38th, which means Kaz is starting dead last, which means Kaz cannot lose us any place differential on Sunday. He can only gain us place differential points on Sunday. So all he has to do is keep all 4 tires on the racetrack. Hopefully there's a couple big accidents and he will dodge those and gain spots due to attrition. And at only 5,000 with all the upside in the world, Kaz Grala, welcome to the bargain bin play of the weekend. And I think that's all I have. Yes, that is all I have for this weekend. Going to be a very interesting DFS slate. We have some the front with Chastain, Truex, SVG, Bowman, Cindric, and Dinger, and then all the heavy names in the mid pack: Busch, Elliott, Reddick, Bell, Larson, Hamlin. It's going to be a fantastic race with these drivers really hunting for a win who are starting up front and all these fantastic plays starting in the midfield. It's going to be a fantastic DFS slate on Sunday. Once again, that's everything I have. Good luck on Sunday. And as always, let's ship it.